I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out righteousness. All right, a lot of things going on right now. The trial is getting underway of E. Jean Carroll, who has brought civil actions against Tribulation Trump, alleging that he raped her 30 years ago in the world-class store Bergdorf Goodman on 5th Avenue and 57th Street. And so she is suing him for defamation and other kinds of things. Now, Trump is not there, but the court trial has been held at 500 Pearl Street. That's where our trial, when we get there, if we have one, will be held as well at 500 Pearl Street. So we'll see how that works out. It's a civil action, and if E. Jean Carroll is able to prove her case, alleging that Trump raped her, I don't know that he did, then he will be liable to pay her a certain amount of money, depending on what the jury will award. But Trump is not there. I think he's traveling around or down in Mar-a-Lago. He doesn't have to be, his lawyers are there to represent him. That's number one. And number two is that Joe Biden, my time, announced his bid for re-election today, allegedly 4 years to the date of when he made his first bid to run. And the reason why I say he'd run is because of what Trump had said about what had happened there in Charlottesville, Virginia, with the tiki torch marches saying that Jews will not replace us. And Trump said there were good and bad people on both sides. And so allegedly, Joe Biden said that's the reason why he got into the race. And Joe Biden's at a very, very low approval rating. It's about 37% approval rating. 67 to 68 to 69% of Americans, even Democrats, are saying that they don't want him to run. So that's a pretty extraordinary, if you will, position. But he's made this announcement that he's going to run. And he's probably not going to be challenged by a lot of different people. And it looks like, unless the cow kicked the calf, Trump will be the nominee of the Republican Party. And at that point, Trump will have an excellent chance of becoming president again, and we'll just see how all this is going to work out. But anyway, you stay tuned to the Manning Report, and Manning will keep you informed as to what's going on. So in addition to the earthquake yesterday that happened with the news with Tucker Carlson being dumped and fired by Fox News, Rupert Murdoch at the head of that slaughter, and Don Lemon being fired by CNN with a note to his publicist, and all that going on just bedazzled everybody on yesterday. Fani Willis came out in the afternoon and said she sent a letter out to all the sheriffs, local officials, and FBI and everybody else within the Georgia region that there will be a charging indictment on the investigation of the phone call Trump says was the perfect phone call that Trump made to Brad Rassenberger. They're looking for 11,780 more votes, one more than they had. That investigation has run a large segment of its course, and that there will be a charging indictment, of that investigation either by July the 11th, from July the 11th to September the 5th. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. If you're going to indict the man, if you're going to indict Trump, why are you making an announcement? This is just April. Today is April the 25th, dating this message. And you're not going to let us know what you're going to do until July? Somebody said, well, she's going to indict Trump. That's for sure. She's going to indict him, Rudy Giuliani probably, and Lindsey Graham and a bunch of other people. They're all going to get indicted. So she's just letting the whole world know that it's going to be, in fact, the letter, I don't know if I have a copy of the letter that she sent out, indicating that I'm providing this letter to bring to your attention the need for heightened security and preparedness in the coming months due to this pending announcement, Willis said. In the letter addressed to Sheriff of Fulton County, Patrick LaHart, who is in charge of courthouse security, Willis said that opening source intelligence Willis said that open source intelligence has previously indicated that decisions in this case could provoke significant public reaction that could result in violence. Please accept this correspondence as notice to allow you sufficient time to prepare the sheriff's office and coordinate with local, state, and federal agencies to ensure that our law enforcement community is ready to protect the public Willis wrote in a letter. That's the strangest thing I've seen in my life. I've seen a lot of strange things in my life. I have. But the district attorney, right, unlike Alvin Bragg, who, just went ahead and indicted Trump and then hauled him up here and handcuffed, well, they handcuffed him, but fingerprinted him. Mugshotted him too, I think. But she's sending a letter. So this is April. Let's see, April, you got May, you got June, you got 2 full months of May and June, and then you got the 11th of July. 3 months, and then the indictments are going to start falling. So Lindsey Graham might get indicted, Giuliani might get indicted, Trump might get indicted, a bunch of other people might get indicted. And if that's the case, she's saying that all these indictments are coming, that it's going to be a hot time in the time. Hell is going to come to Georgia. The songwriter some years ago said the devil went down to Georgia. Well, it looks like the hell is going to come to Georgia if this woman indicts Trump, along with Lindsey Graham. But Trump's been indicted before, so you won't get a lot of people excited about that. By the way, Trump called for people to protest here in New York when Alvin Bragg, the people that support Trump don't like coming to New York. I can tell you that right now. I held a march. I held trial again. I put Trump myself, not Obama rather, on trial going back in the year 2010. And I expected a whole lot of folks. People say, yeah, we coming to that trial. I expected thousands of people come. Maybe 100 people showed up. People just don't come to New York. They don't come. That had been held somewhere else. They'd been all over the place. But I suspect that Trump is going to be indicted with election fraud, which could get him big criminal time. And if that is the case, I suppose that, first of all, Trump's numbers, his poll numbers went up after the Alvin Bragg indictment. He ran away. Ron DeSantis was nipping at his heels. But since then, Trump is now the number one. He's running ahead of Ron DeSantis about as many as 25 points. But I think that this indictment in Georgia, if it falls, now I believe that's what Fani Willis is saying, that she's going to indict him. And she's going to indict Lindsey Graham. Imagine that, Lindsey Graham getting indicted for election interference. Rudy Giuliani, who's on his last leg anyway, get indicted. And possibly I thought, well, maybe there's something happening with Jack Smith, and he's a special counsel for Merrick Garland and the Department of Justice, who've been investigating what happened out at Mar-a-Lago, right? And what happened on January 6th. By the way, the Proud Boys juries now being, I think the final arguments are being made, closing arguments rather being made to the jury, the five Proud Boys that have been put on trial for sedition. But the Giuliani is, if you get that kind of big name indictments, Giuliani, Trump, Lindsey Graham, and maybe some of Trump's lawyers that get indicted, and then Jack Smith, who was ready to indict as well, because if he doesn't wrap up his investigation pretty soon, he's going to find himself running into the election period of the year 2024. So we're in 2023 now. So we could have all this indictments falling about the same time. It's going to be a tough summer for America. But that's where we find ourselves now, and I suspect that Trump will be indicted. I don't know that there's going to be a lot of violence, though. Here's what I think, and what I think is always right, as you very well know. I think what people are going to do is say, well, let Fani Willis indict a ham sandwich if she wants to. We'll be quiet. Let Trump continue to run as president. Give him all the support we can give him. Run his poll numbers up. Excoriate that boy from down there in Florida called Ron DeSantis. Get him out the way. Get rid of that Nikki Haley. And Mike Pence ain't never going nowhere. And let Trump run against Joe Biden, my time Biden. And Trump can beat Biden this time. And Trump will become president and then if you will, pardon himself, right? Or get somebody who will run as vice president to pardon him from all these indictments and everything. But you wash around the rug and everything go on as usual. That's what I think. What do you think? You tell me what you think. I'll listen to you. What you got? What do you think? I think that's what possibly could happen. Now, there don't need to be any riots. There don't need to be any kind of January 6th insurrection if Trump gets indicted by Fani Willis. Don't mean a thing. Because Trump can run for president and become president. He can pardon all that stuff. He can pardon Lindsey Graham. Of course, I wouldn't pardon Lindsey Graham if I was Trump. Anyway, but that's what I think. And what I think, obviously, is, is always right. Let's see how it all shakes out. I suspect that that's how Trump's going to play his card. There's a lot of stuff coming at him at present. But if he can win the presidency, he becomes the president of America again, all that stuff gets washed under the bridge. And, All right. So, and then the other thing, I was talking earlier about how the fact that Tucker Carlson got fired, Trump may have wanted him fired as well, in addition to the fact I think everybody's getting ready to go super gay. Trump may have wanted him fired for all the things he said about him. Trump, he said some pretty ugly things about Trump, so Trump may be pulling some strings, but nobody pulls Rupert Murdoch. No, you don't pull Rupert Murdoch. You don't tug on Superman's cape. You don't spin in the wind, and you don't mess with Big Bad John. You don't pull Rupert Murdoch's cape. You don't do that. Even Trump. Why does my phone keep ringing all the time? He said, well, I turn it off. Mind your own business. Now, you don't pull Rupert Murdoch's cape. At any rate, so that's what I think is going to happen to Fani Willis and a whole lot of other stuff that's going on.